Hello everyone, I will be explaining a little bit about Hong Kong background. Now, Hong Kong is a Chinese special administrative area of the south coast of China, just to the east of the Pearl River estuary. The area is bordered on the north of Guangdong province and on the east, south, and west by the South China Sea. Hong Kong Island was only populated by a small fisherman community until the British arrived in the mid-19th century and had a few characteristics that made it suitable for settlement. It was a rocky, lacking rich land and with fresh water, and was said to be a pirate hotspot. However, the British merchant who started using the fine harbor to anchor opium-carrying vessels in 1821 found it to be a comparatively secure and undisturbed base. The deep sheltered harbor with east and west entrance and a position in the major trading routes of the Far East was soon recognized for its economic strategic importance. Now, there's a treaty called the Treaty of Nanjing. This treaty gave birth to Hong Kong Island after the First Opium War, which lasted from 1839 to 1842. The British, on the other hand, were never content with a partial control of the harbor. The Convention of Beijing compelled China to cede the Kowloon Peninsula south of what is now Boundary Strait and Stonecutter Island less than 20 years later. After the Second Opium War, which started from 1856 and ended in 1860, the new territory, along with 235 islands, were leased to Britain for 1990 years, beginning in July 1st, 1898. Under the terms of the 1898 Convention, Hong Kong population grew from 120,000 in 1861 to more than 300,000 by the end of the century as a result of this territorial extension. Hong Kong economic and political past has been largely shaped by the geographic position of its island. Hong Kong territory consists of two major islands, the Hong Kong Island and the Lantau Island, as well as mainland hinterland. As a result, it serves as a natural geographic port for the province of uh, Guangdong in southern Chinese Sea, Southeast China. In several ways, Hong Kong's role in the international economy has remained remarkably consistent since founding as a trading hub for China regional and globe trade, and this is still the case today. Hong Kong developed from a sharply inhabited area to enter at the turn of the 19th century to becoming one of the world's most significant foreign financial industrialization that piqued the interest of the economic and historian.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rizka Saputri, and now I will be explaining about Hong Kong political system. One of the most valid things to discuss about Hong Kong political system is the one country, two system, or what's so called as Yi Guoliangzi policy. As one of the backgrounds of the regent system, the policy was introduced by Deng Xiaoping with the purpose to unite the People's Republic of China, or what's so called as PRC. Xiaoping stated the PRC is one, but the related regions such as Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau can preserve their own political governmental system, economic system, and legal system. The policy then implemented in the form of special administrative regions, which is later then ratified in the PRC law Article 31. The article stated the state might establish special administrative region when necessary. The system to be instituted in the special administrative region must be determined by legislation passed by the National People Congress under certain conditions. Moreover, as Hong Kong itself, after transferred from the British colony to the PRC through the Sino-British Joint Declaration in 1984 and formally come into being part of PRC on 1 July 1997, Hong Kong then becomes the special administrative region of the PRC, which is the implication of the one country, two system policy. Hong Kong as the special administrative region will be under PRC sovereignty, but it can have and conduct its own political governmental system as well as its own economic system. In its political system, Hong Kong is ruled by chief executive as the head of the government. The chief executive is the highest government position in Hong Kong, which was formed to replace the post of Governor of Hong Kong. In the 5 years tenure, the chief executive is responsible for the Central People's Government, or the CPG, and the president of the mainland China. Since elected in 2017, Hong Kong is currently ruled by Carrie Lam as the chief executive. During her administration, Lam will be helped by the region principal officials such as Chief Secretary, Financial Secretary, Secretary for Justice. She also will be helped by the Executive Council and the government agency and the policy bureaus, or what's so called as the ministers. For the legislature, Hong Kong has what's so called as the Legislative Council of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, or the LegCo. The unicameral legislature consists of 70 members, which is 35 members are directly elected by geographical constituencies, and the other 35 are elected by functional constituencies. Moreover, the LegCo basically consists of two political camps, the pro-Beijing one and the pro-democracy camp. For the election and political party, Hong Kong has the election committee, which is based on the basic law of Hong Kong. The electoral college is chosen by the CPG to select the region's chief executive. Furthermore, political parties are not fully regulated in Hong Kong, and hence there is no legal definition of what constitutes a political party in Hong Kong. Most political parties and political groups are registered either as limited companies or either as just societies. However, Hong Kong now has a total of 43 political groups. That's all my explanations. The next point will be explained by my friend.
So thank you, Rizka, for the explanation. I will continue to explain about Hong Kong economic development. Hong Kong is one of the most well-known regions in the world. The existence of business port located on southeastern coast of Eurasia became one of the histories of Hong Kong economic development. In addition, Hong Kong also has the freedom of autonomy and privilege granted by China. With freedom and privilege helped develop Hong Kong economic system. The history of Hong Kong economic progress dates back to the Opium War, or commonly known as the Anglo-Chinese War. In the Opium War, there was a conflict between the two sides. It is between the Chinese and the British in China's sovereignty. During the war, Europeans used addictive opiate power to gain important trade relations with China, a country that isolated itself from the outside world. The success of British in this war had considerable impact on Hong Kong. The borrowing of territory for the British in the territory of Hong Kong makes the country requires to have changes to some system and government of Hong Kong. Therefore, with this policy made by the British, can support Hong Kong progress into a port and warehousing and industrial hub. Despite many challenges in the face of British colonial times, the change of system and concept made by the British make Hong Kong one of the most economic powers in Asia. The increase was not only due to how the system was run, but there was still interference from the colonial state of England. And then, after the British colonial period, which meant handing back Hong Kong to the China state, there was an agreement between these parties. On July 1, 1997, the celebration of Hong Kong unification to China was peaceful, despite there are many Hong Kong protesting against it. A joint British declaration was signed in late 1984, which paved the way for Hong Kong under China's control on 1 July 1997 under a one country, two system policy. Hong Kong will be a special administrative region in China, but the Hong Kong Agreement will remain with the system and its rules for 50 years. Hong Kong's post-colonial economic success is a new image in the Asia area, with a distinct system to the Chinese state, making Hong Kong more mature in growing its territory in terms of per capita income, service provision, stock investment, and collaboration with other nations. As a result, the British provided several types of support throughout the colonial era that had a significant influence on Hong Kong economic and political growth. Hong Kong, although it is a small city in comparison to the other Chinese provinces, is capable of capturing the attention of many nations in terms of investment opportunities and markets.
Hong Kong has made progress in the economic sector, which is indirectly helped by the improvement of the quality and the quantity of many industries, which is a driving factor in Hong Kong economic growth rate. By becoming one of the areas included in international trade routes, Hong Kong became a very visited region by foreign nationals from all over the world. Hong Kong is becoming an international transit hub with advancement of transformation service and facility provided by Hong Kong as a supporting tool that greatly help the way trade between Hong Kong and other countries. Hong Kong port is one of the main ports in the world and has the ability to handle cargo as much as 20 million TEU or 20 foot equivalent units. Hong Kong port also has a shipyard capable of handling ships with a capacity of up to 46 tons. There are 4 key industries in Hong Kong that are driving the progress of Hong Kong's own economic sector. 1 is financial service, 2 is tourism, 3 is trade and logistics, and 4 is professional service and manufacture. With this, it is certain to provide a boost to the growth of other sectors and create jobs. Hong Kong as special administrative region has a very important position for China, especially in terms of economy. The SAR is one of the 8 concepts derived from the formulation of one country, two systems. The establishment of SAR in China and especially in Hong Kong region is one of the rational measures taken for the sake of regioning Hong Kong to the level of China. With the development of the one country, two system, a Chinese compromise attempt to reunite former Chinese territories such as Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. With China concession to Hong Kong and Macau SR, which include the freedom to control government, economic, and security system, Hong Kong and Macau can better administer their own territory using familiar methods. Since both SAR areas are still using the system from the previous period, integration with the system adopted by China will not cause any problem.
Okay, so it's right here, and I want to explain our conclusion, our group conclusion about Hong Kong. So what is Hong Kong actually is? Hong Kong is a special administrative area that located on the south coast of China. Hong Kong have nice economic and they have strategic important territory. Hong Kong economic and political past lately have been shaped by its own geographical position. Hong Kong underwent swift and prosperous period of industrialization within 1950 until 1980. And economic development of Hong Kong. What is the economic development of Hong Kong? So Hong Kong have been largely increased their own prosperous, their own economical growth because in the end of 18th century and 19th century, they have been a large existence of business port that locate on the southeastern coast of Eurasia. And then because Hong Kong became nice port that well built. Hong Kong is freedom, and they have their own autonomy, and they have their own privilege. British indirectly support Hong Kong became a part of warehousing and in this industrial hub. Hong Kong have one concept in their country. That concept is one country, two system. One country because they have boundaries with China, but the China give Hong Kong freedom to rule their own territory. Hong Kong is free to run their existing system in its territory with the system that has been. Hong Kong became a special administrative region in China. So what is Hong Kong administrative region? So Hong Kong can improve of the quality and the quantity of many industry. They increase on import and export segment. Hong Kong became international trade route. They can cover in the China or the country next to China or blah blah blah. They can cover it all. And Hong Kong became international transit hub because of the advance of transportation service and facilities. Hong Kong have four key of industry. The first one is financial service, tourism, trade, and logistics. And then the China promised to Hong Kong that China will not cause any problem, and China give Hong Kong special administrative region because Hong Kong can rule by their own rule. They can grow by their own growth. They can live by their own will, and they can and then they can walk by their own dream. That is very special administrative region that have been given by China. Hong Kong political system is one concept that make Hong Kong very special right now. One country, two system. Hong Kong can preserve their political government, economic, legal system by their own. Hong Kong ruled by the chief executive. And then the chief executive is responsible to central people government, or we call it CPG, and the president of mainland China. Okay, so that's all our conclusion about the Hong Kong. And then thank you.